Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a super exciting tutorial. I'm going to show you step by step how to sculpt a human head in Blender. And even more, I'm going to be using this, which was given to me by today's sponsor, Uion. This is the 22 Plus. I'm going to be using it for this step-by-step tutorial. And I will talk more towards the end about this product. I'll unbox it and tell you a little bit more about it. But just keep in mind that this tutorial, if you enjoy it, a big thanks to Uion. So let's jump in and do some sculpting. So with a new scene open up in Blender, let's go ahead, just select all the default objects and let's just go ahead and delete them. We're then going to go ahead and let's go to our add option. Let's add in a mesh object. We're going to go with a UV sphere and then we're just going to take that up on the Z axis a little bit. Maybe let's go even a little bit higher, maybe to around here, like that. And now we have kind of like what's going to be the beginning of our head. And in our right view, we're just going to move it a little bit back. So now with our sphere active and selected, we're going to go over to our sculpting workspace. And inside of here, let's just go over to our active tools properties. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down and let's go over to where we can see the dynamic topology. We're going to enable that. It's going to say OK. Let's enable that. And I have my detail size set to 5. Yours might be 12 by default, so you can bring that down a little bit. I wouldn't go any lower than 5 or 6 when you're just getting started. And then what we're going to do is we want to work with symmetry here. So we're going to go down and I'm going to make sure that you guys can actually see this because I have my video over this. But you're going to go down to the symmetry over here and you're going to go symmetrize just in case it's not already symmetrical, and we want to make sure that it's enabled for the X over here like that. So just make sure that it's symmetrical. In this case, it's a sphere that we already used, so it's symmetrical, and it's going to be mirroring on the X axis. So now we have all of that set up. We have our dynamic topology. So let's start by going into our front view. And in our front view, we're going to go over to one of my favorite tools down here, and this is the snake or the snake hook brush. And we're going to come up here to our radius and just take it up a little bit. And then we're going to come here and just grab the front and just drag it down. And then let's shrink our brush a little bit by bringing down the radius, tuck it in a little bit here. And then we're going to go into our right orthographic view. And let's grow our brush a little bit. And then we're going to grab the forehead and just bring it all forward a little bit like so, the face, like that. And then we're just going to grab the jaw here and just square it out a little bit by dragging some clay down like so. But we don't want to go too crazy with any details. We're just establishing the kind of rough shape of the head. And now that we have that done, what we're going to do, well, we still have our snake hook brush. We're going to grab kind of at the bottom of the skull here. And we're just going to come and drag it down like so. And we can increase our radius just a little bit and just keep dragging that down. And we're going to grab it here in the inside, just bring it in to make the neck. Just grabbing it and dragging it like so. And let's grab this, expand it a little bit. And back in our right orthographic view, we're going to now take this nub and we're just going to stretch it down to about here, like so. Maybe a little bit up, maybe not too low, somewhere about here. And then we're going to come here in the front and we're just going to drag it forward a little bit, like that. And then from here, we're just going to grab the side and just stretch it down and out a little bit, maybe up and out, and then come here and stretch it out a little bit. And we're just kind of making a rough profile of what's going to be the shoulders. Let's bring it out here a little bit. In fact, let's just go back into our right orthographic view. And I'm going to make this a little bit more of a base here just by bringing this out here and stretching these up. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. Some people prefer to do more of the body, some people prefer less, but we're mainly focusing on the head. So we're not going to add too much of the shoulders and the body, just kind of like the upper profile of the clavicles and the neck. And in the front view, I'm just going to shape it out a little bit more like this. And I think that's about what I'm going to do for now. We're not going to go too much with the details here. We will later come in here, do some clavicles. But like I said, the main focus here is just working on our head. So let's come here to our front view. Okay, and this is a very simple way we can start kind of making the basic shape of the head. This is one of my favorite ways. So we're going to go over to the clay strips brush. And let's come here, bring that radius down to about this much. So for me, that's about 41 pixels. And we're going to come here and we're just going to lightly do a strip of clay over here, which is going to be kind of like the brow area, as you can see. And then if you hold in Control on your keyboard, you can do the inverse of the brush. We're just going to kind of eat away a little bit of the clay over here, just doing kind of like a little bit of a circular pattern. just to eat away some of this. This is going to kind of be where the eyes are. And I'm also just going to, while I'm holding it control, just get rid of a little bit of the clay over here. And there we go. So that's looking, you can kind of see, just with these very simple strokes here, we're already kind of laying down kind of like the basic idea of how the shape is going to be, the face is going to be shaped. And while I've got my clay strips brush, I'm just going to come over here, just add a few strips of clay just to build up the cheek a little bit here, not too much, just very gentle. And if you hold in shift, you can always turn your brush, any brush you're working in, to the smooth brush. And that just allows you to gently smooth out. So you can see here, I'm just gently smoothing out, but not too much. And then from the top here, we're also going to hold in shift and just smooth out the top of the head a little bit here, because we didn't use a subdivided UV sphere. I probably should have started with one that was a little bit more subdivided, but it's not a big deal. So all we're doing is just moving around, holding in shift with our brush, and just smooth out these bits over here on the side. So I'm holding in shift, just doing light smooth passes. And you can see here, this is kind of already just the volume added to the face over here. And then when we come to the side here, because our head is a little bit too round because we started with a sphere, I'm just going to hold in control, get rid of a little bit of the volume here. So with our clay strips brush, just holding in control, let's just do a few passes just to get rid of some of that material on the side here, like that. And now that is looking a lot better, okay? So sometimes when you see people starting off with sculpting, they'll start with a UV sphere that they kind of cut the sides off. For me, I'll just start with a sphere and then just kind of flatten it after the fact, and then just hold in shift and just smooth that out. So now you can see, before things weren't looking quite right with the volume, but now we're really starting to see the anatomy make a little bit more sense. So now we've added in the sockets here, the bridge of the eyes, and the head more or less has the volume we're looking for. So now we're going to get into doing more of our detailing work, building on the structure of the face. Now, some people will do this a little bit differently, but for me, before I add too much detail around this sort of front part of the face, I like to kind of add the eyeballs in. So I'm just going to quickly go back to my layout, and this is super quick, by the way. We're just going to go add, and then we go to mesh options. Let's just add in, once again, a UV sphere. Just like we started off with the head, we're going to bring it up. And let's go ahead and drag it to the right, to our right, or which would be the left of the character. By the way, that sound you just heard was some crows outside, so I apologize if they make noise from time to time. And I'm just going to go ahead and scale that down. And let's go ahead and move it in, and let's move it forward. I'm going to move it in a little bit as well, like so. And let's just go ahead and rotate it 90 degrees. And let's go over to our mirror modifier. Let's go add modifier, and let's give that a mirror. And let's go ahead, click on the little eyedropper, and let's select our sculpt as a reference. And then you're just going to right click and you're going to go shade smooth. And now we have some roughly placed eyeballs. Let's go over back into our sculpting workspace. I had the eye selected there. Let's just make sure we have the sphere selected. In fact, let's just double click on that and let's just call it head. And let's just click on the spheres we just added, double click, and let's just call them eyes, just so we're a little bit more organized. So with the head selected, let's go back into our sculpting workspace. Let's make sure that dynamic topology is enabled. Sometimes it turns off, and we're still at a detail size of 5. Now I'm just going to quickly grab my grab brush, and let's just take that radius and take it down a bit. I'm just going to move this in a little bit like so around the eyes. You can see we're just kind of making the cavity that the eyeball sits in. And then I'm just going to grow the radius a little bit and just bring it down over here on the edge of the iridge here. And then I'm just going to tuck the brow in here just a little bit towards the front, just like that. Okay, that's looking a lot better. And then we're going to come here to the front of the face, down where the jaw is. And we're just going to come here and maybe grow the brush just a little bit. We're just going to tuck it in here because the jaw at the front here is looking a little bit too square. So just tucking it in slightly here like so. And then also just a little bit here. We don't want it to look too square because we are doing a female form here. So we want to be a little bit more delicate around the edges. Let's just tuck that chin here a little bit. And then from the side, we're just going to tuck in over here, bring that in a little bit. And now that's looking a lot better. And then I'm just going to come down here to the neck and just lift this material here just a little bit just to tighten things up down here and add a little bit more of a profile. Cool, I'm going to hold in shift and just do a light smooth pass over here as well. Just around the chin a little bit and down here on the bottom. Okay, now that is really starting to look cool. I'm also just going to come here to the top of the head. I'm looking at it now, I might just hold in shift and just smooth this top bit out a little bit, like so. Just a little bit, so it's not as square. All I'm doing is holding in shift and just doing light little passes. And then we're going to get the grab brush, and then the top view, we're just going to tuck the corner of the head here just in a little bit, just to make more of an accurate kind of slope here. That's something a little bit more accurate to actual anatomy. That's something that people when they're beginning oftentimes get wrong. The top of the head looks more like one of those little Kinder toys, the little shells, than it does like an actual sort of like shape like this. So keep that in mind. Always make sure to check that from the top as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on the eyelids. So let's go ahead and get in nice and close. And let's go to our clay strips brush. And let's take that radius down. So I want to go down maybe even a bit smaller than that. Let's go to something like 40 pixels. And then we're going to come drag the strength up. And we're going to come down to about here, the corner of the eye. And we're just going to come and drag and make a strip of clay going up and around to here. Now you can't really see, you can always turn the eye off over here in the visibility, just so we can see through. So let's go like that. And now you can see we've made the top, or started the top of the eyebrow. And let's come and do one down here, like so. And I'm going to go over the top one again, just doing a pass, like so. And it looks a little bit bad at the moment, but what we're going to do is we're going to hold in shift and let's just smooth it out down here. And let's go here to the top and let's just smooth it out as well. And let's just bring our eyeball back by enabling it here. Now we're going to go ahead and get the grab brush. And let's come in here, grow the brush a little bit. And let's tuck this out a little bit like so. So we're just bringing it out just a little bit with our grab brush, just so it sticks out over the eye a little bit. Over here as well, and let's come over here and let's just bring this eyelid out a little bit as well. And then just here in the corner, let's just bring that out a little bit and a little bit over here. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Now we just need to kind of smooth it out or clean it up a little bit and add a little bit more of a corner here to the corner of the eye. So I'm going to zoom in here and I'm just going to take this corner here and just drag it and then grab this bottom one and just fold it up. And that way we can kind of make that corner of the eye here, like so. And then let's just tuck it out a little bit like so and bring it a lot closer. It's a lot tighter than most people think. So just something like that. And let's bring this one up a little bit. And that's looking a bit better. So now let's get our clay strips brush again. Let's decrease the radius and let's come in here now. And let's go along here. In fact, I'm going to come to my brush, my settings here, and I'm just going to go and turn the dynamic topology down to a value of 3. And now I can come in here and it'll be a little bit more fine. So we're going to come around here, do a strip of clay, and let's come in here and let's just make it a little bit more detailed along the top here. And then holding in shift, let's just do a light smooth at the top here like so, and over here as well. And now you can see we have those eyelids starting to really appear here, but I want to add a little bit more detail to the top one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over and we're going to get this brush here called the crease brush. We're going to increase the strength quite a bit, and let's increase the radius a little bit as well. And we want to come and make a crease starting right over here. And we're just going like this, making a crease. And over here, the lid is a little bit too close to the crease. So I'm just going to quickly get the grab brush and just bring this down just a little bit. This is personal preference. Your eye can be a little bit more open up here, but I feel like for this, it's looking a little bit too cartoony. So I'm just bringing it down just a bit. And now that I've brought it down a little bit, I'm just going to go back to my crease brush and let's just grow that radius a little bit. And now we can continue. Let's go around like so. And just make that detail there. Now we can grab another brush over here, and that is going to be the pinch brush. Let's grow that one a little bit. And then we're going to come over it, and now we're just going to pinch it, and that's just really going to make it look better. So going around over here and just really neatening and tightening that up. And let's hold in shift and just go over and smooth the top here, like so. So now look at that, already looking so cool. And over here, I'm just going to hold in shift, smooth this out a little bit around here. Look at that, that's already looking so cool now. So let's zoom out a little bit and see what we've got. Probably one more little adjustment before we get to the rest of the details. I'm just probably going to get the grab brush and just tuck this eyelid up here just a little bit more. Maybe just one more little thing, and then well, I promise we'll get to the nose. Might just come under here with the crease brush and just do a bit of a crease under here, and then grab my pinch brush and just kind of pinch that as well. Okay, now I promise we'll leave that alone for now. So let's get to making the nose. So with the nose, let's go ahead and get our clay strips brush, and I'm going to make sure the radius is just a little bit bigger. And we're going to start about here, and we're just going to go up adding a strip of clay, like so. And then what I like to do is to kind of zoom in a little bit and then kind of make something like this. So we've made a strip like this, and then kind of like, and then I'm just going to come here and make a little ball on the tip. Okay, so that's looking good. Maybe a little bit more fleshed out here. Don't worry if it looks weird. We're going to smooth it out in a second. And let's just hold in shift. Let's just smooth it out here around the bridge a little bit, over here towards the tip. And then what we need to do is just go into our right orthographic view. And let's get our grab brush. Let's grow the radius just a little bit. And now we can do some adjustments. I'm going to grab it here and just make it look a little bit more like a nice looking nose. In fact, it's sitting a little bit too high. Now keep in mind, this is always going to be different for different references that you're looking at for different people, but generally the nose does sit a bit lower than people think. So don't make it too high to the face. Now obviously if you're doing a cartoon, you can stylize this a lot, but let's just bring that down just a little bit and make it a little bit more pointy. And let's just make this nose look a little bit more triangular, because we are trying to go, like I said, for a very kind of delicate look. So not pointy, but just kind of like, imagine like a triangle running here like that. Okay, so now let's go into our front orthographic view. And now I'm just tucking these bits in here with the grab brush around like so, and tucking it in here at the bridge a little bit, and then just bringing it down at the tip a little bit. Now I'm going to hold in shift and just smooth it out a little bit, smooth it out a little bit over here. Now let's go ahead and get our crease brush. Let's shrink it a little bit, and let's just make a crease running along here, going up to here. And let's get our pinch brush. Let's just pinch it a few times just to really sharpen it up. And now you can see that's looking a lot better. Now I'm just going to get my clay strips brush, and I'm just going to do a strip of clay running like this. And then I'm going to zoom in. And now I'm going to hold in Control or Command just to do an inverse. Let's just make the holes in the nose here, the nostrils as they're called. And let's just do a strip of clay running here just to add a little bit of a profile to the side there. Holding in shift, and let's just smooth that out a little bit. A little bit over here and a little bit over here. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom back out. Okay, that's looking a lot better. So now I'm just getting the grab brush again and just doing a little bit of shaping. So once again, I'll just grow the radius a little bit. Just bring it down. And the nose, like many of the parts on the face, can be a bit tricky. So always practice, look at some references, but that's already looking pretty cool. So for a second there, my camera disconnected on the recording. I don't know why. I lost about probably 45 seconds of recording. What I did is I just used my clay strips brush and I just added a little bit more of a bridge over here at the bottom, and then just kind of pulled the nostrils a little bit closer to each other, make them a little bit smaller. And then I just got the smooth brush and smoothed it out. So it really wasn't that much that you guys missed. So I really just brought that inner part between the two nostrils, that little bridge, essentially just brought it down a little bit and tucked the nose in around the corners here. So that is the shape we're looking for there. It's still not perfect, but it's kind of roughly what we're trying to achieve here. So in order to do the mouth, we want to think about proportions here. So a common mistake people do sometimes is what they do is they'll kind of like look at the bottom of the chin, they'll look at the nose, and they'll put the mouth right in the middle. That's kind of almost where it is, but what we want to do, we want it to be a little bit closer to the nose than it's going to be to the bottom of the chin. So as we always do, let's go into our front view. I just prefer to go into the front orthographic. I'm going to get nice and close over here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my crease brush here. I'm going to take the radius way down, make it nice and small. And then I'm going to come right here and I'm just going to draw kind of not a straight line, but kind of like a bit of a bendy line. Kind of almost picture it slightly like a mustache, but not a mustache. So something like that. Make sure not to go past the middle of the eye. So if you look at the eye, imagine a line coming down here. You don't want to be touching that line. Keep it about a little bit away from that line. So that's the way I always kind of remind myself. If you take this too far, you're going to have something that looks more like the Joker. So just keep that in mind. So now we kind of have a placeholder here. Let's go ahead and get our clay strips brush. And what I like to do, I like to kind of rotate and get a bit of a different angle. I'm going to increase the radius on my brush just a little bit. And I'm going to come over here and we're just going to do a strip of clay. Now I'm going to increase the strength over here. So we're going to come over here, just do a little bit of a strip like so. And we want to be very gentle here because the lips can look really wrong depending on how you do it. So we want to add just a strip of clay here, add a little bit of volume to the tip of the lip. And then from here, we just want to come down and add just a very light strip going down like that. Keep it very gentle when you're adding any sort of volume to the lips. Okay, we can always increase, but it's much harder to take away. And then we're going to come over here, looking kind of down, and we're going to start again. We're going to just do a little bit of clay like so, just doing nice little circular movements, and then just a little bit of a strip going up like so. And let's just maybe add just a little bit more volume. Like I said, we really want to take it easy here with how much volume we add. And then what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in here, and I'm just going to go just little strips coming up like this. You can zoom in if you want. Just little strips coming up, and I'm wrapping them around like so. There we go. Just slowly adding that volume. And what we're going to do over here, we're going to do the same thing, just wrapping them up. And as we come to the end here, we're getting lighter and lighter. We don't want big volume over here, just more towards the inside of the lips over here. But over here, we want a little bit of a canal, but not quite, just very lightly so. Okay, that's looking a lot better. I'm going to zoom back out. And now we're just going to hold in Shift and just do a little bit of a smooth and just a little bit of a smooth down here. And that's kind of what we have at the moment. Still not done, but you can see we kind of have the beginnings of some nice looking lips. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my pinch brush. I'm just going to go ahead and just do a little bit of gentle pinching in this inside here, working my way up a little bit and in like that. Perfect. Just trying to tighten it up here. If that doesn't work, you can just go ahead and get the crease brush and hold, or actually shrink it first. Then hold in Control or Command, and let's just do a little bit of a strip like so. And then I'm going to grow the brush, and holding in Shift, just do a light smooth in the top here, just kind of barely making the corner of the lips, but don't go too heavy on that at the moment. Yeah, you kind of see what we're doing there. What I'm going to do now is get my clay strips brush again, and I'm just going to grow it a little bit, and I'm going to come here and just do a strip of clay lightly like so, coming down, kind of touching to the top of the lips, and then holding Control, I'm just going to do a bit of an inverse over here like that, just building up just these little muscles under the skin, and then I'm going to hold in Control or Shift and just smooth it out towards the outside here and a little bit over here. So let's zoom back, let's see what it looks like. Okay, it's kind of getting there. What I'm going to do is just get my grab brush, and I'm just going to do a little bit of adjustment. Just going to bring the lips down just a little bit and kind of pinch it in over here, just by pinching it in like that. So from the front it's looking okay, but from the right orthographic view, I'm just going to bring the lips out just a little bit. Now once again, this is something that varies from person to person. So some people it's a little bit flatter, but for me, I really like pushing it out just a little bit more as a little bit of an extra detail, but don't go too crazy. It's a very kind of delicate balance here, like how much you bring that upper lip out. But keep in mind that the upper lip, it's always going to be out more than the bottom lip in most cases. Like I said, you get caricatures, you get cartoony styles, but we're trying to go for something a bit more realistic here. So just a little bit of an adjustment makes all the difference. And always make sure you look at the relationship between the nose and the mouth as well as you're pulling things. So now that I've pulled things from the side, it has adjusted things from the front a little bit, but it's something that you just have to kind of watch as you're going along. Once again, I'm just going to now get my pinch brush. I'm just going to zoom in here, and I'm just going to try and tighten up the edges here, just make them look a little bit nicer, and over here as well, just a little bit. Maybe just the inside of the mouth, trying to tighten that up. And then just the bottom of the lips here. I'm just going to try with that brush. I might increase the strength. Just try and pinch it like that. And let's now zoom out and let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Now we kind of have those lips established on the character. So I think the next bit is doing the ears, or maybe we'll actually do just a little bit of the neck first, because I'm not quite happy with how that's looking at the moment. We were going to move to that, but for now, before we do like the ears and stuff, let's just focus on the corner of the jaw here. So we do have to kind of do the muscles on the neck a little bit. So let's go get our clay strips brush. Let's come down here to where the neck is. And let's increase the strength quite a bit. And we're going to come kind of under here where the ear is going to be. And we're just going to make a big muscle coming down, wrapping down like so. All the way down to here. And let's just add a little bit more volume over here. Then we're going to hold in shift and just give it all a nice light smoothing. Come over here, hold in shift, just smooth it out lightly. And then over here at the top, just lightly smoothing it out, like so. Now I'm going to zoom back, see what it looks like. Okay, it's looking a lot better. And maybe just blend it in a little bit more here towards the bottom. Okay, now that neck is looking a lot better. It's not just looking like a cylinder, which it was looking like before. But what we're going to be doing next is the ears on our character here. So I'm now in my right orthographic view, and I'm going to start by grabbing my clay strips brush, and I'm going to zoom in. And here where we have the corner of the jaw coming up kind of to where the neck is and the bottom of the skull, here's where we're going to start drawing the profile of our ear. So the way I do this is I start by kind of sculpting a shape that looks kind of like a 9, almost like that. And then I go again, doing another pass, just kind of building it up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go turn to the side here. I like to then get my crease brush, and then I'm going to go in here, just kind of make a crease on the back here like so, running back and forth, going up and around, and then from the top just making a crease that runs over here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your pinch brush, and with the pinch brush we're just going to come here. We're going to pinch it, and I'm going to grow the radius a little bit, and maybe not that much, a little bit smaller. And we're just going to come here and pinch it, working our way around, all the way around like so. And then let's get our grab brush, and then in our side view, let's just grow our brush a little bit, and then let's just tuck it in like so, grabbing all of the material here, just tucking it in around the ear to tighten it up a little bit. You can see how we're just kind of making the profile of the ear using this technique. So just kind of pushing it all in. And then once we have it here, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come to our back view here, and we're going to grow the brush a little bit. And now we kind of have that profile established. We're just going to grab the outer part, maybe just make it a little bit bigger. We're going to grab this outer bit of the ear, and we're just going to kind of pull it out like so, making sure to not grab too much of this inside here. If you do, you can just once again get your crease brush and then just make a little bit of a crease here, just to kind of part the ear away from the body. And using this technique, you can kind of stretch out that flesh of the ear like that. But you don't want to go too deep here because there is a little bit of tissue still connecting to the ear. But just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and get our grab brush again. And let's just continue pulling that out all the way around like so. All the way to the lobe of the ear down here. And especially down the bottom here, we really want to just kind of pull that out like so. If it starts getting a little thin in some places, like it is here, you're just going to go ahead and get your inflate brush. And then you're just going to bring down that radius. And behind here, you're just going to inflate it a little bit along the borders, so it doesn't look too thin. And now I'm just going to get my grab brush again. And let's continue just adjusting the shape of the ear, just tucking it in behind here. And from time to time, you can hold and shift and just smooth out any of the bumpiness that you're getting. And so now we've been able to kind of stretch out the ear, but we now have to think about the inside shape here because it's not quite correct. So let's go ahead and get our clay strips brush, and I'm going to just shrink it a little bit. And we're going to come starting down here, and we're just going to kind of gently go around and make a little bit of a pattern or an outside border to the ear like so. Just going around. I'm going to adjust myself, zoom in a little bit closer. Go around again, just like that. And then holding in shift, just kind of gently blend it in, going all the way around like so. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my inflate tool, and in these areas where it's a little bit thin, I'm just going to go over with my inflate tool, blowing it up a little bit, and then holding in shift. So you guys kind of get where we're going with this, right? Just smoothing it out, making it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so it's not looking too bad, but the inside, we could probably do something a little bit better than that. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going around with my grab brush, and I'm just tucking in all of these curls here, a little bit like this, just to kind of more define the inside of the ear and thin it out a little bit. Now at this point, you could go ahead and add some more details in the inside like you would with a normal ear. But in this case, I really am just going for a very sort of simple open ear. I might just come in here and make the little hole in the ear. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my clay strips brush, shrink it quite a bit, and then I'm going to hold in control and just kind of make the inside here. So kind of just eating a little cavity away, and then let's make it even a little bit smaller. And then let's just make the hole over here. And then a little bit down here. And then holding in shift, let's just smooth that out lightly. And then with my clay strips brush, I'm just going to go and add a strip of clay running along here, just to add a little bit more detail. And let's just come up here in the inside, just add a little bit more. Nothing too crazy, maybe a little bit in here. And then holding in shift, let's just lightly smooth it out. Blending it all in, just holding in shift. And there we have it. I'm going to just keep it really basic at that for now. I might just go into my front orthographic view and just get my grab brush and zoom in, and then just make slight adjustments, making the ear just look a little bit better. Up here, tuck it in a little bit, just cleaning it up a little bit. So there we go. Go ahead, look at references when you're doing ears. It's sometimes really hard to do these tutorials and explain it exactly because you kind of have to just kind of feel where it feels right in a sense, but you also do need to base it on actual anatomy of, of what you're looking at. But it's all about just getting it right, just getting those final little details, kind of like a painting. You can build layers on top of layers, but over here you can see I'm just tucking things in, and now it's looking a lot less messy. So I think before I mess things up, I'm just going to leave my ear at this for now. So I'm going to go zoom out a little bit, have a look, see what that looks like. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that for now. So I think what we're going to do now is just a final bit of detailing on the body here, a little bit of a polish up, and then we're done with the sculpting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front chest area here. I'm going to make the clavicles here. So I'm going to be using my clay strips brush. And I have a radius of about 49, but I am zoomed in closer here, so it depends on how close you are. We're just going to start from the top shoulder here, do a little bit of a strip of clay like so, just to add a little bit of volume here at the top. And then from here, we're just going to do a pass coming down to about here, but we don't want these two touching. And then we're just going to add a little bit of volume down here, just to the chest, just a little bit, like so. And let's just come here, just build this up just a bit. Once we have all of those elements in place, we're just going to hold in shift. We're just going to gently smooth up here and then just blend it in here, gently making a curve coming down. And towards the end here especially, we really want to blend it in. And then over here, we're just going to blend this in to create a nice profile, like so. And let's have a look at that. That's looking really good. Smooth it in, just blending it in. So just little implications like that, just implying things by laying down some shape and some volume and then smoothing it out. So I'm going to come to the back here and I'm just going to come here, just add a little bit more muscle on the shoulder here, up here as well, and then just holding in shift, just smoothing it out. Along the border here, laying some strips of clay, and then once again, just gently smoothing it out. So this is really the finessing stage where you've already laid down the basic form. It's just about just slightly bumping things up or slightly removing things just as you polish your work. And back here, I'm just gonna do a little bit more volume to the back of the neck here, just a few strips of clay. Once again, holding in shift. So this is probably my favorite part because honestly, even though I've been sculpting for like 10 years, over 10 years actually, it's never really that easy for me to get going, especially when I'm doing a tutorial, because I can't just enjoy the sculpting process. I have to be thinking about how I'm explaining things, the kind of terminology, the wording, and you know, it makes it a little bit harder. Not that I'm complaining or anything, but it's just one of those things. So at this point, even though I'm talking to you guys, it's kind of like easy for me now. I can just relax along with you guys as we kind of finesse this thing we've been working on now for the past 40 or 50 minutes, however long it's been. And that's it. So I think for now, I'm going to be calling this work complete. I really hope you guys have enjoyed my tutorial on sculpting a head in Blender. And now I'm going to be talking to you guys about the product that I've used in this tutorial, the Kamvas 22 Plus. So this is the box that the Kamvas 22 comes in, and it's quite a nice box, very well packaged. So let's open it up and see what's inside. You can see here it's nicely encased in some foam, so it's well protected. This is the first little box, which I'm assuming contains a lot of the cabling. Over here we have a stand that is going to go on the back of the display. And here are some instructions of some sort. And here we have the display itself. Now it's just simply a matter of connecting everything and installing some drivers, and the display would be ready to go. So with this tutorial now completed and you guys kind of seeing how the Kamvas 22 Plus operates, what are my personal thoughts and feelings about this product? Well, I will say that I really enjoyed using this product. It was really responding very well, better than I thought it would. And the color range is really good. It just feels like the black pixels feel really black, and the richness in the color, something that I really noticed was a lot better than other displays I've used in the past. So would I recommend this personally? Yeah, I would. And if you guys check in the description below, there'll be links to the Kamvas 22 Plus and some more information about the product as well. So once again, a very big thank you to Yuion for sponsoring this video and making such amazing products for the artistic community.